picking up on slide number 18. Remember, we are still going through your application to become a dealer. You got about 6 different pages that are going to be involved with you making your application to become a dealer. So here, let me get my little red nose guy down here at the bottom. There we go. So down here at the bottom of page 3, you're going to sign down here. There's a certification statement right here. I certify my location provides an adequately equipped office space. It's not a residence, it's not my home, and it affords sufficient unoccupied space upon and within which to adequately store all motor vehicles offered and displayed for sale. The location is suitable place that I can carry in good faith on such business. What we're talking about today is the requirements for the state of Florida. Now, you're going to be inside a county. If you're inside Florida, you're also inside a county. So it's on you to check with the county that you're inside of and ask, can I be a used car dealer in this zip code, in this area over here inside your county? And the answer is yes, or the answer is no. Most counties really don't care that awful much. Now, when you get into really heavy occupied counties, sometimes they have very definite ideas about whether or not you can be a used car dealer inside their county. Or they might have, well, yeah, you can be a dealer, but you need to meet these particular requirements. So make certain the county says, yes, you can be a dealer here inside our county, and they may have requirements you're going to have to meet once you get your license. Now, if you're also inside a city, now you want to go down to City Hall, go to the county courthouse and go to City Hall. If you're inside a city or municipality, you ask, can I be a used car dealer here inside your city, inside your municipality? And the answer is yes, or the answer is no. If the answer is yes, the next question is, well, what do you guys want from me? And usually it's a tax certificate and occupational license. They want money from you to be inside their city. They may have definite requirements as far as signage is concerned. So please don't assume because it's okay with the state that the county and city automatically approve it. So be sure you check with the county and you check with the city. That's not in the rules, the laws, or the statutes where the state is concerned. It just says, make certain you meet our requirements. But what you're saying when you sign the certification statement down here, you're basically saying, yep, I checked with the county and I checked with the city and they said I can be a dealer here. So let's look at the things that are going to go in with your application. Over here on the right-hand side of the screen, so all this stuff is on the left-hand side, in English on the right-hand side, your property. The property on which your dealership is located. Is it under contract with a landlord? They want to see a true copy of the lease that says ABC Motors, LLC, period, can occupy this property right here. You have a legal right to be on somebody else's property. Or does ABC Motors, LLC, period, own that property? Is there a deed in their name? If so, then a copy of the deed. But remember, the contract is not with you personally. It's with the corporate structure itself. Corporate charter, minutes, LLC, LP, articles of organization. They need to see your corporate paperwork. That isn't an S corp. This is a C corp. It's an LLC, LP, running like an S or running like a C. That's why you need to talk to CPA. I can say these words, but I am not a CPA. I'm not a CPA. It's just if you have a corporation, you have what's called a charter. Why were you created? You have an LLC, LP of an article of organization. Why you were created. Usually it's a simple little paragraph somewhere inside the paperwork that says why you were created. It usually says something like, to do whatever we darn well please, as long as it's legal. So it's just legal mumbo jumbo. You have to have it in place to be able to have the state of Florida say, yes, you can be a dealer here. Minutes under the corporate structure, all that is, it will actually spell out who's the president. If there's a vice president, who's the vice president or vice presidents? Is there a secretary? Is there a treasurer? Remember, you can, as few as one person can own the corporate scenario. As few as one person can be in charge. If you have multiples, they're all going to be listed in SunBiz. They're all going to be listed on page 2, and they will all do the certification. But this is not Larry the Lot Boy or Susan the salesperson. Fictitious name, if applicable. So if your name is ABC Motors, LLC, period, and that's what you use on all your letterhead, your paperwork, everything, everybody sees ABC Motors, LLC, period, that's not fictitious. If you use any name other than that, you leave out a dash, you leave out a dot, then that one is fictitious. So you create the corporate structure, and the corporate structure would be the one that would create a fictitious name if it applies. If it doesn't apply, then skip the fictitious name portion. We talked on the front, federal ID, sales tax, federal ID from the Internal Revenue Service. You can walk to an IRS office. I need a federal ID for ABC Motors, LLC, period. Then you contact the Florida Department of Revenue, which I'm going to show you how to do probably tomorrow morning. But you can do it right on the internet. They'll send it to you for free, or walk into one of their offices, write out an application, the DR1, give them $5, and there's your sales tax number. Department of Revenue is not the county tax man. Department of Revenue is not the Division of Motor Services. It's not the TAG office. It's a separate entity. Electronic fingerprints. Everybody, as you put on page 2, will do fingerprints at the electronic level. We're going to get into that here very shortly as well. Now, certainty bond or irrevocable letter of credit. You're required to have a $25,000 certainty bond, not a $50,000, a $52,000, $100,000. It's a $25,000 certainty bond. You buy that from an insurance company. You'll get an original. So it says original. You'll get an original wet signature certainty bond that you'll turn in with your application to become a licensed dealer. And every year, a new bond must be issued. You don't renew an old bond. You buy a new bond every year. The first bond just hangs around for 5 years, called statute of limitations. So if you had a bond for this dealer year, which is May 1 through April 30, you got just a couple of months left here. So you got your license in place, you sold me an automobile. If anything goes wrong within 5 years of this transaction, the bond that was in place at the time of this transaction is what stands ready to pay my claim within that 5-year time frame. Now, so all it's there, if you do harm to somebody else and you owe them money and you don't pay it, they can go against your bond and get payment from the insurance company. But there's a misunderstanding about bonds. Because they are issued by insurance companies does not mean they're insurance. They're really nothing more than a guaranteed loan. There's other language they use, but that's the best way to remember it. So the insurance company says if the claim has to be paid out, you owe it, you didn't pay it, we determined it's a payable claim. The insurance company pays it, turns around to you personally. Hear that? Personally. And says we need to be reimbursed. You pay them back everything they paid out to that harmed party. Plus. We're talking attorney fees and everything else. If you do not reimburse the insurance company, they cancel your bond. If they cancel your bond, guess what else just got canceled? Your license. You'll buy a brand new bond every single year. Now, your expert for the bond and garage liability will be here tomorrow morning, but normally around $250 for the year, you can buy that $25,000 certainty bond. Now, the irrevocable letter of credit, if you want to self-bond, become the insurance company yourself, you'll put up $25,000 of your own money at your bank in a 5-year CD that you cannot touch. And next year you put up another $25,000, and the next year another $25,000. So at the end of 5 years, you have 5 $25,000 CDs. And in year 6, when the first one is retiring, it just rolls over into year 6. So money you cannot get to until you either replace it with a bond or you retire from the industry. And for each year after you retire, 1 year at a time, the 25,000 is released. Of course, if there is a righteous claim, then that is, the bank is notified, the bank cuts the check to the harmed party, but they use that 25,000 as their collateral. Just be glad it's only 25,000. Some states are a fair amount more than that. You will have garage liability. Now, forget about the general liability of an automobile policy. That doesn't really apply. You're going to have a garage liability. You're going to have a contract. You will not turn in the contract. You will turn this thing here called a certificate of liability. That goes in with your application to become a dealer. Now remember, your bond and your license run exactly right next to each other. May 1 through April 30, May 1 through April 30, May 1 through April 30. But say your insurance renews in February. So next February, when it renews, you're going to get a brand new certificate, and you must within 10 days, hear that, within 10 days, make certain you update that renewed certificate with that regional office. Remember we talked about your email to them? You scan this in, attach it in an email down to that regional office, a copy back to yourself. You got a lot on your plate. Any change to your bond, any change to your insurance, any change whatsoever, you must within 10 days update that regional office. The certificate from this training. So when you and I separate at the end of the day tomorrow, probably 5 o'clock on Sunday, it might be a few minutes prior to that, might be a few minutes after that. It depends on you more than it does on me. But we separate at the end of the day tomorrow, then within 30 minutes after we separate, you're going to get an email from me, obviously with my contact information, along with some little reminders. I even have a link on there, how to get to the manual. You know, I showed you earlier on how to do it. The link will be there with a reminder, DTS 123. There's also the link that shows you all the regional offices inside the state. There'll be the opportunity to join the association early if you decide that you want to do that. But there'll also be a reminder that on Monday or Tuesday, you are to expect an email from the association that says, time to take your test. Click here. So when you get that email, you're going to want to click on that link to take you where you go take your test online, and you'll print your certificate. And that certificate is what they're talking about right here at the bottom. It'll have a date on it. It says you took the 2-day training. That date that's on that certificate is good for 6 months. What that means is within 6 months of that date, you must apply for and get your license issued to your dealership. If you do not apply for and get your license issued within 6 months of that date, I will see you again 6 months and 2 days from the day, taking the training all over again. There is no King's X in this. When 6 months runs out, 6 months runs out. Now, 6 months sounds like a long time. 6 months is nothing. 6 months just flies right by. Life could care less what's going on in your life. The computer could care less. Nobody has any, there's no such thing as an exceptions or anything to this. I get the calls. Can I get an extension? You know, I don't know how many times I can say it. You're on the, you made the commitment, you got the certificate, get her done. Get her done. This stuff here, just put your head to it. If you know who you are, you know where you're going to be, you can do this. Don't let life get in your way. Life has no problem interrupting what you want to do or accomplish. Your job every day, you take charge of your future every day. This page here in the application, certification page, yes, no, yes, no. Remember, everybody you put on page 2 of the application, there might be one of you or more of you, but each of you must answer this particular page. Certification. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Ever been convicted of a felony or equivalent charge? Ever been denied a surety bond? Ever been a licensed dealer in Florida or any other jurisdiction? I know one or two of you have said yes to that. You're a licensed dealer in some other state. Okay, just say yes. What's the state? What's your license number in that other state? Or what was your license number in the other state? If you don't remember your license number for that state, talk to your compliance examiner. They can help you fix that part of it. So there's nothing wrong with saying yes or no to any one of these. It's just if you have to say yes to any of these, look in the middle of the page here. A yes answer requires additional supporting documentation. That's all it is. I do get questions, usually at a private level. Got a felony in the background, either that person or somebody who's another officer they want to put on as an officer. Was it more than 5 years ago? Was it not involved in the automobile industry? Was it chop shop, grand theft auto, messing with paperwork type stuff? Then yeah, they'll still consider your application. At one point, 25 years ago when I started, didn't matter when it was, where it was, or anything of that sort. If it was in the past, sorry, could not get this license. So one of our governors, when he came on, says, why doesn't it make sense to continue to punish somebody for something they did 20 some odd years ago if they have proven that they have brought themselves back into society and they're a contributor. But yeah, you can imagine grand theft auto, chop shop, stuff like that. No, those folks will never be able to get this particular license. So, and I've had people say, oh, it was my records were expunged. Nobody will be able to see anything like that. This goes to the FBI and FDLE. And if you think they can't see anything from the past, you're sadly mistaken. Don't be afraid to say yes. If you have to say yes, talk to your compliance examiner. They'll tell you what you need to turn in with your application to help this move forward. Nobody can say a positive, yes, it will work, or positive, no, it won't. Their job is to gather the information and send it up to Tallahassee. It's up to legal to decide from there. The big thing from me to you is right here, signature. When you sign this, be sure you're sitting in front of a notary public. Don't sign this and look for a notary. Look for a notary. Then sign this. Their job is to watch you sign the doggone thing. Get proof. You are who the heck you say you are.
Hey, Terry.
Yes.
Quick question. I am a licensed dealer in Seattle.
Yes, sir. You say yes up here.
Is that an issue or no problem?
Pardon me?
Could that be an issue for
Heck,
Florida?
no, that's not. No, you can be a dealer in many states as you want to. Just have to make certain each state welcomes you in.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Oh no, that's great. That's why I spend time on this page right here, because there can be a lot of misunderstandings where this page is concerned.
Okay.
Yeah, when you go to get your fingerprints done, I would suggest ask whether or not. By the way, do you also happen to have a notary on staff? I get my fingerprints and notary done at the same time. That would be awesome. All right, did that help a little bit?
Yep. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, let's go on to slide 20. On this page right here, all you are going to do is sign at the bottom. This blue thing you hear at the bottom, if you look above, I've exaggerated here on your screen what's in that paragraph down there. We hereby agree that all documents, orders, notices will be served by email at the email address provided. Remember, on the front page of the application, you had to put your email contact information. It says, I also agree to add dealerservices@flhsmv.gov as a contact. So that my email from the division is not going to be misclassified as junk mail or spam. So when you go into your email contact stuff, set up a contact, dealerservices@flhsmv.gov, and the email is dealerservices@flhsmv.gov. When you get a communication from the state of Florida, Division of Motor Vehicles, this is who it's coming from. That's who's going to be sending stuff to you. So you want your computer to be ready to receive it. Sometimes they'll send out a blast email to every dealer in the state of Florida. If you take and put all dealers together, you got maybe 12,000. So your computer could very easily think this is spam coming its way. Now, let me give you one more suggestion on this. Is at least once a week, at least if not a couple times a week. I know every time I look inside my folder for my from incoming mail, I automatically go to my spam folder to see whether or not something ended up there that didn't belong there. If it did, drag it up into the in folder and address it. Because you have agreed that they can reach you through that email. If they cannot reach you through that email, especially if it says you only have so much time to respond, then they can do it. They can start shutting down your dealership because you didn't cooperate. On that very front page of the application, you said, this is who I am, this is where I am, and this is how you reach me. Make certain if they need to reach you, they can reach you and you can respond. The rest of this page from this point all the way up, that's for RVs and mobile homes. This is not a class on RVs and mobile homes. Now, let's go to slide 21. Very, very important right here. Everybody you put on page 2 of the application. Everybody you put on page 2 of this application must do fingerprints at the electronic level. You do not go to the sheriff's office, the police department, the highway patrol. They do fingerprinting, but this is not a concealed carry permit. You are required to go to a live scan fingerprint provider. Now, where do I find one of these? Here's my hint. You might want to dog-ear this part of your workbook to find it or put a sticky note on it. But when you're on the internet, just type in live scan fingerprint provider near me, and there'll be a whole bunch of providers from throughout the whole state of Florida right there on your computer. Now, the ones at the top have paid to be up at the top. That's up to you. Go down below, like here, live scan service providers for Department of Law. You click on this, it'll open up and show you where all these providers are located. Try to find somebody that's near to you. And you pick up the phone and you call them. I need to get my fingerprints done. Where are you located? Can I set an appointment? You don't just show up, make an appointment. And then when you go in to make that appointment and get your fingerprints done, they're going to ask you for this, your ORI number. And this number may look familiar to you because they had you write it down at the very beginning. FL 921-700-Z. Remember at the beginning they had you write down FL 921-700-Z. I suggest put a little piece of paper, stick it inside your wallet. So when you do get there and they ask you this question, you may not remember the number, but I have it here inside my wallet, FL 921-700-Z. Otherwise, I'm going to get a call. I say, Terry, I'm here getting my fingerprints done. They want to think on ORI number. I mean, if you're lucky, I can pick up the phone, but usually I'm usually instructing somebody at that time. Again, that the rules, the statutes, all the government stuff just says do it. It doesn't give you any hints on how to make it as smooth as possible for you. You don't get fingerprints to turn in with your application. You get this lower right-hand corner, receipt. So the receipt goes in with your application. If there's 5 of you on page 2 of your application, there's 5 of you going to be doing fingerprints. There's going to be 5 receipts, won't there? So all that happens is that agency, when they get your fingerprints done, they send this to the FBI and FDLE, for Department of Law Enforcement, Federal Bureau of Investigation. And so they then look to see whether or not there's something in your past that the state need to be made aware of. So no more complicated than that. Remember I said your yeses and your nos? So don't say no and have something pop up from here. That would not go well. Talk to your compliance examiner about what they say you're going to need to turn in with your application, okay? In the old days, when they had hard copy fingerprints, then yeah, you could go to the sheriff's office, the police department, the highway patrol. Not anymore. They're not an approved live scan fingerprint provider. Remember, I want you to do this once, pay your money once, turn in your application and get your license and open your doors for business. Location, we're gonna go deeper into this here on the next slide. But the reminders, not from your home or any other business. You don't put the dealership together in the same address as the jewelry store. They can share the same building and you have your address and they have their address inside that building. Zoning and occupational licenses. So again, you're always inside a county. Go to the county courthouse. Can I be a used car dealer here inside your county? The answer is yes or no. If the answer is yes, then great. Where can I be a used car dealer inside your county? If I get my license, what do you guys want from me? And if you're also inside a city, for example, then you go to City Hall. Can I be a used car dealer inside your, does it make sense? Go to code enforcement. If they have requirements, can you meet those requirements? Financially, does it make sense to move into that location? There'll be requirements not just for the building outside, inside, there's also going to be requirements as far as signage is concerned. You're advised to ask for facilities inspection. Now, just because you ask for one from the Regional Office of Division of Motor Vehicles doesn't mean you're going to get one. Not anymore. 25 years ago, yeah, they'd make an appointment with you. They meet you down over there, have coffee and a donut, and look at the stuff and talk about it with you, and then go back and come back again. And those days are gone. Those days are gone. They either will physically come out to the location, make an appointment for that with you to meet them there, or they might have you fill out this little 3-page document, or they might say something like this: no, we're not able to do that from this location anymore. Go put everything together, sign your contract, get your signage, turn in the application. And once you turn in your application, it's either accepted or rejected. If it's accepted, then we'll come out afterwards and make certain that you told the truth. That's part of your decision-making process. Yeah, I cannot guarantee how friendly or unfriendly they are going to be able to be where that moment is concerned. Office and display spaces. Here's the minimums, and we're going to gussy it up a little bit from here. You have to have an office of at least 100 square feet. So you're contained inside. This is not on a dirt lot somewhere. This little gray box back here, this is the property upon which you have a contract to be able to conduct business. So if I come here, here's your office. It's at least 100 square feet or more. This is where you set up to do business. You're going to have a desk, going to have some chairs, maybe a file cabinet, at the very minimum, or maybe nicer than that. That's entirely up to you. Then it says even a ceiling of at least 7 foot high. I think the purpose of the ceiling is to make certain somebody doesn't set up on some dirt lot out in the open air somewhere. So we got that. Then you have to have display spaces. Remember from the very beginning, we said it must be contiguous, designated display spaces. Right here, you're at 12324th Avenue. Let's see, this whole building here is yours. And here's some public parking spots out front. I come in, visit you in the office. We go right over here, put our hands on that vehicle, contiguous designated display, the vehicle you're offering for sale. The cars can be inside. The cars can be outside, or a combination of each. It's just when they look at your legal right to be on this property, which of those spaces have been designated in which to put vehicles you plan to offer for sale. If you have 50 spaces, do you have to have 50 cars? No, you could have anything less than that. You just can't have 51. But you have to have designated contiguous display spaces. Everybody kind of got that okay? I do training, done training at a lot of auctions, especially like Manheim, Fort Lauderdale. I'd be sitting there doing training on a Saturday or a Sunday, and you look out through the window out in the public parking area, and you have dealers meeting customers out there. That's as illegal as it gets. If you have a vehicle for sale, I got to be able to come to your lot and find it in that designated display space. Does that mean you can't take a car over to my house so I can take it on a test drive? Of course you can do that. Meet me at my office to take it on a test drive. Of course we can do that. But when we conduct business, if I want to see that car at your dealership, it's got to be in that designated display space. We do the business, we walk into your office and do the business there inside your office physically. And now in today's market, you can do it digitally, but it must take place inside that office. Have we kind of got that okay? Now, 12324th Avenue. What if you're going to share this building with another business? Now we'll start bringing other businesses into this. There has to be a barrier inside between business A and business B. Awesome. That's great. We can't walk through this wall here to get that other business. We have to walk out of here, walk over there, walk in their office entrance. Let's say this is you here in suite A, and there's somebody over here, a jewelry store in suite B. Awesome. What if the store next to you, here's the question that was just being addressed, is another dealer? If it's another dealer, by statute, they have to have an office of 100 square feet. They can have cars inside, they can have cars outside. They must have designated contiguous display spaces, just like you do. There has to be public parking spots set aside for customers, your car and your customers' cars as well. Those would obviously be outside. But the statute also says this, it does say in the statute, if dealer A is right next to dealer B, there must be at least a 3-foot high permanent barrier between dealer A and dealer B. That is a Florida statute. If you set up to another dealer in a location and there is no barrier between those inventory of dealer A and dealer B, then yeah, the compliance officer could say, nope, not acceptable. That's between you and the compliance examiner. But if there's not another dealer next to you, barrier is not required. Now, you can also bet from an insurance standpoint, if you don't have a barrier, your premium is going to be probably right through the roof, and you probably won't be covered for theft or vandalism. So that's up to you. If you're going to move into a location where there's other dealers in the same building and they're going to be right next to you, or you're going to be next to them, contact your compliance examiner and ask them whether or not the barrier is going to be a problem. I can't speak for them. All I can do is share with you what it says inside the statutes themselves. I am not the compliance examiner. Okay? So do your homework before you sign on that dotted line. Okay. I get these questions all the time, by the way. You're not the first one to ask these questions, all right? So if you go to slide number 24, upper left-hand corner, The law requires records to be available at reasonable hours to inspection by the department or its employees. So once your license has been issued, you got a license, you are in business. Expect that within the first 60 to 90 days, 1 to 3 months, 2 to 3 months, excuse me, expect to get a call from your compliance examiner. I'm coming out to take a look at your location at your dealership for your first courtesy inspection. They're not coming out to beat you up or anything like that. They're just coming out to make certain you're doing stuff the right way and heading in the right direction. And if you need educating, correcting, or whatever, they will do that while they are visiting with you at your location. But they will call you and they will make an appointment. They don't just show up unannounced. It doesn't mean they don't see your dealership. They'll be driving by your dealership all the time. You're inside their territory, but they will make an appointment with you. Now, if they show up unannounced, that's not good. Okay, so don't worry about that for a couple of years. They will call you, they'll make an appointment. I'm going to take you through the inspection and show you where the inspection report is so you know exactly what they're looking for before they even get there. So make yourself available. They will call you and make an appointment with you. They do not dictate your days. They do not dictate your hours. Now, statutorily, upper right-hand corner, you will post your hours of operation in a clear manner at or near the dealership office. So if I come to your office right here on the door, left, right, or above the door, Fred's Fine Wrecks, Monday through Saturday, 10 in the morning to 8 o'clock in the evening. Here's the phone number. You decide, we're open on Wednesdays only between these hours and these hours. God bless you, that's great. How about if you just leave out the days and the hours and put by appointment only? That's acceptable as well. Fred's Fine Wrecks, by appointment only, and a phone number. So give us a call, we'll meet with you. Let's get together. Like I say, the same thing with the state. They want to meet with you, they'll call you and make an appointment. Just make certain you make yourself available to them. If you're not available on Tuesday in the afternoon, then maybe you'll be together on Thursday in the morning. That's between you and them.
Hey, Terry,
Yes,
quick question. There is no minimum required hours to be open, right?
that is correct. I have there will be Fred's Fine Wrecks, by appointment only, and a phone number.
Okay, thank you.
There was one young man called the association. This was probably a couple decades ago. Says to my compliance officer, said, I have to be here Monday through Friday from at least 8 o'clock in the morning to at least 5 o'clock every single day. So I'm sitting here waiting for this guy to show up all the time. Says, no, they can't. They can't force you to work on certain days at certain hours. You can do by appointment only. So of course we make a phone call. So there's a way to handle just about everything. So I've got tons of dealers. They have Stingray Chevrolet. You know they're open on certain days and certain hours. Got others that they have maybe 1 or 2 cars. They do by appointment only. They do a concierge service. They don't find a car until somebody asks them to. They bring them in, do an appointment, sell the car, and send the person off, room to put another car in. So plenty of flexibility, But you will post those hours right there on or close proximity to your door by a permanent, durable means, not on a Post-it note. The other big one is there, sign visible from the right of way. If you're at 123 124th Avenue and I'm driving down 124th Avenue to come visit you, from 124th Avenue, I can see, oh, Fred's Fine Wrecks is on this property right here. I pull onto the property, get up to your front door, there's your hours of operation. Now, also look, lower left-hand corner, there's coming right from the statutes, 50 yards from the public right of way. So the farther back from the road it is, the bigger the sign's going to have to be. The closer to the road it is, the smaller the sign can be. Sometimes you're in a location where there's a whole bunch of businesses in that exact same property at 124th Avenue. There might be 20 of you or 50 of you. And out by the side of the road, there's a big signpost with a whole bunch of little signs. on the signpost. But it will be visible from the public right of way. This is, again, just stuff that you put together. Here's Fred's Fine Recs. So ABC Motors LLC, period. Doing business as Fred's Fine Rec. What's a public seat? Fred's Fine Recs. Now, if it was Fred's Fine Recs LLC, then they better have the comma LLC. It's not fictitious. If you have a logo, want to put a logo up here, that name does not have to be inside the logo, but if it is, then either it's the actual name or the fictitious name. So just thing to be thinking about. So again, when you go to the county or you go to the city, can I be a used car dealer inside your county, inside your city? If the answer is yes, then what do you guys want from me? By the way, is there a signed ordinance requirements here? You may very well find out that there's some very definite requirements about what you can or cannot do where signage is concerned. Signs are important to people finding you. But you put up the wrong sign, it's going to be very expensive to have to take it down and put another sign up. Do your homework, ask your questions, get your answers. All right, if you do everything we've talked about, you cross all the T's, dot all the I's, turn in your application. You will have chosen one of these. Most of you are going to do the VI. We know that at least one's going to be doing the VF, franchise side of this. Auctions have to sit through the same training you're in. The wholesale guys and gals that do strictly wholesale. Same thing with the salvage yards. Insurance, auto auction, IAA, Copart, all of them had to sit through this training session as well. You're going to choose one of these as your starter. So for example, if you crossed all the T's, dotted all the I's, turn in your application with all the supporting documentation, then usually less than 2 weeks back through the mail, here comes your license. Go to the mailbox, open up the envelope. I'm a dealer. If it begins with VI, it'll be followed by 8 numbers. If it's VF, it'll be followed by 8 numbers. The last number in the sequence is a 1. That means that is your primary location. That's your primary location. If you open up a satellite office, it will end in a 2. A third office will actually end in a 3. Now that's logical. We're not quite certain how that happened. That's pretty rare for the government to do something that's logical. This is public information. Anybody can get your VI or your VF number in case they decide they want to make believe they are you. So what do you have here is going to be your dealership name and address. And here's going to be your name. If you have a DBA, then what your DBA is going to be as well. But this is public information, and you will post your certificate. I would suggest make a copy of the certificate, and I put the copy up on the wall and put the original in a safe location. In the same envelope, when you open up, and here, I'm now a dealer. In the same envelope, you're going to find this. Go to slide number 26. You're going to get a receipt in the same envelope that shows you paid $300 for this license. You need this receipt for income tax write-off purposes. The money you're spending now to get the license, if you get the license, then all this money is an income tax write-off. Talk to your CPA. Remember, I'm not your CPA. If you don't go ahead and get this license, then you just got an education with a lighter wallet. But on this receipt, see where it says PIN? Personal identification number. See these 4 numbers here? There will be 4 numbers on your receipt. That is your unique security code. That is your own private identity number with the state of Florida. When you go to the tag office, you must produce your VI number, but you must also be able to produce this 4-digit code. That keeps people from going down and making believe they are you at the tag office. So business hint. In your workbook, in this little blank spot right here, it says 4-digit blank, please write PIN number That's your reminder. When you get this receipt, write down the security code, go back to your receipt and do this. Watch up on the screen, black it out. That way you have your unique code inside your fireproof, hopefully fireproof, waterproof safe. You have a fire, the water from the fireman is under pressure, so it destroys what the fire didn't get. So please invest in a fireproof, waterproof safe. And if you forget your security code, forget your PIN number, just open up the safe and you can access it. But a couple more things. Why is this important? Nobody should have this number unless you are able to trust them with this number, because whoever goes down to the tag office with this number, as far as Florida is concerned, they are the dealership. They're an agent of the dealership. You need the number. Your partner needs the number. Do you have a title clerk working for you directly or indirectly? Well, they need this number as well. You remember the employee folder thing I showed you earlier on? You set up a folder. I'm working for you, and you put Terry Myers up on the folder. And for whatever reason, you gave me your PIN number so I could go down to the tag office and do tag and title work on your behalf. So on the front of my folder, you put down PIN number. That's all, just PIN, little number sign. You don't put down the actual number. Put down the fact that I have you given to me that special code. And later on, I leave. Voluntarily or involuntarily, I'm not with you anymore. You need to sit down with a piece of paper and send a letter to Tallahassee and ask for a new 4-digit PIN. You need to be able to lock me out of being able to do business at the tag office. You have a partner. You and your partner have this number. You and your partner go your separate ways. Good separation, bad separation, doesn't really matter. Your policy and procedure should be quite simple. This person's not here anymore. They have the PIN number. I need to go change the PIN number. You cannot do this over the internet or anywhere else. You're going to send the letter to Tallahassee Division of Licensing. This is ABC Motors Company LLC, period. Here's my VI number, my VF number. I need a new 4-digit PIN. They'll send you a no 4-digit PIN. So when you go down to the tag office, you're able to conduct business at the tag office, but you effectively you've locked that person out. Remember, the more I know about humans, the more I like my dog. Slide 27. Your license is May 1 through April 30 if you have this VI license. My VF candidate, franchise candidate, you're our calendar year, January 1 to December 31. So whenever you get your license, the clock's already ticking. If you're going out to the VI license, and guess what? It's going to happen on April 30th, 2023. It ends. So you're at the time of year when you turn in your application to get your license initially for the rest of this dealer year, which is only about 3 months long right now. They're going to probably ask you to go ahead and do your renewal at the same time. It's $300 for your initial license. It's only $75 to renew. So don't be surprised if you're going to do not only the application, but also the renewal. Now, if you wait till May, March, April, May, you wait until May to turn in your application, then it's the $300. And then next year, when it comes time, you'll do the $75 renewal. If $75 is a problem, you're already in the wrong room. Franchise. So you get started now, you don't have to worry about your renewal till you get into the month of November. So the month prior, 2 months prior to your renewal date, you're going to get a renewal notice from the state that it's time to renew. Go here, click, and fill out your renewal. Provide proof you met your education requirements within the last 24 months, that your bond has been updated with a new bond, and you're $75. Now you're going to start off renewing. You want to renew on an annual basis, at least for the first 2 years. This is just a business hint. Once you've got 2 years under your belt, you can consider renewing 2 years at a time. My suggestion is when you do that, you want to be renewing your bond 2 years at a time. But the first couple of years, you're just getting your feet wet. You're just getting familiar with what the heck is going on. And so after 2 years, when you got this second renewal the heck out of the way, when the next year comes around, then you're more ready to make that 2-year commitment. You don't get a special price for renewing 2 years at a time. You'll pay the same thing. It's just you pay 2 years ahead. If you decide you want to quit in between, there's no refund coming back on that. Also, with your VI license, you have to have 8 hours of continuing education every 2 years. Right now, you're just getting your license. Once you get your license, then you're going to be on the hook for 8 hours of continuing education every 24 months. Does not apply to franchise, but it does apply to the VI license, these categories up here. We'll get into that. We'll get into the continuing education portion a little bit later as well. As you can see, this training goes across 5 different license categories. So some stuff will apply to you, some stuff will not apply to you. It's all part of your learning curve. Now, was that a question?
Yeah.
You did raise your hand. It says you raised your hand. How about that?
Terry, quick question. So, since I'm a franchise, because I'm a manufacturer, for me to sell retail, I would need to be VI licensed as well, or no?
VF is what allows you to sell retail. Those brand new trailers have not yet been titled.
Okay. And it
Because
doesn't matter if
you're-
I'm selling them to dealers or to the consumer.
Your manufacturer, remember, think of yourself as 2 separate companies now.
Okay,
The franchise, the franchise manufacturer makes the trailer and creates a statement of origin. Not a
Correct.
title, a statement of origin. That trailer and that statement goes to the franchise dealer. And the franchise dealer sets up a folder for that particular trailer, and inside the folder is the statement of origin. When they sell that trailer brand new to the end user, they take out that statement of origin, turn it over onto the back, and assign ownership to the new owner. And then the franchise dealer is responsible to get a title in the name of the person who bought that trailer. Now,
Got it.
once it has a title, then everybody up here can have access to it. But until then, the only one who has access to that vehicle is your franchise operation.
got it.
Now, because the franchise dealer takes inventory in trade quite often, then they're also going to have not just new inventory, there's also going to be used inventory on that exact same property. You take a trailer in trade. Maybe you take a car in trade. You can put it on the retail, on the retail side of your lot for used vehicles. And then you can actually sell those used vehicles off of that title. So I think they'd be sold on the new stuff comes off a manufacturer's statement of origin. Any
Got it.
used stuff has a title and is sold by way of the title.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Thank you. That makes
All right. All right, a lot of moving parts, everybody. That's why you're going to have my phone number. Now, if you go to slide 28, once your license has been issued, you're going to want to make changes sometime in the future. Couple of choices: look into the statutes and try to work your way through all those statutes and figure it out, or do it the easy way. Pick up the phone, call your compliance examiner, add Mary. I'm thinking about adding a corporate officer to my corporate structure. How do I go about doing that? Add Mary, thinking about adding another location. How do I do that? Add Mary, my last guy didn't work out. I had to shoot him. Now what do? Call and ask for advice. Advice is free, but forgiveness is extremely expensive, all right? The statute spells it out, but good luck understanding the statutes. Call the people that you're going to have to answer to if you get it wrong. They want you to get it right. They want you to get it right. If you're getting it right, they can spend more time working on guys and gals that are getting it wrong. These folks are definitely overworked and underpaid. It's amazing the things that they get, that they accomplish. Okay, remember the 10-day thing I talked to you about earlier? Change in bond or garage liability. There's nothing wrong with getting a different bond or different garage liability. Just be sure you update the state within 10 days. So provide annually your certificate of renewal. Remember, if you do not, when you get that certificate of renewal in, if you do not take and scan it in and send it down in an email or hand carry it down to that regional office, and they've lost it for whatever, and you can't prove that you did this on time, expect to pay a $500 fine. If you let your policy lapse, whoa. That's not a surprise. Let's say the policy is due on February the 1st of each year. If you do not renew it on February 1st, then you have a 30-day grace period with an insurance company giving you time in which to renew it during that 30 days as if you did it on time. But at the end of 30 days, you did not renew it, it will lapse, cease to exist. The moment that happens, your license just went null and void. You can't buy, you can't sell. There's nothing that you can do at that particular point and expect to get a $1,000 fine for doing it. If you want to stay in business, you have to find somebody willing to backdate and pick up where the other company left off. No gap. And you can bet the premium's going to be up through the absolute roof. There's nothing wrong with getting better deals, paying better prices, but just be certain that when this one ends, the next one is already in place, ready to take over from there. These are things you put in place in case you do harm to somebody else.